is the Audi Q6 e-tron. Here I'm testing the top spec quattro version, so twin electric motors, 4-wheel drive. You can get this as a sportback with a kind of four-door coupe style of body, but this is the regular sort of wagon, although the rear end does swoop down a little bit in a sporty profile. As per typical with Audis, the design is very nice. It looks purposeful, it looks consistent front and back and sides, and it's got lots of muscle as well with protruding wheel arches, nice alloy wheels, and a chunky rear end with a full width tail light. And inside you've got plenty of space. I like these S sports seats in the front, although the cushioning is a little bit firm. I mean, this is a pretty new vehicle, so I'm sure it will soften up a little bit. But yeah, plenty of support, lateral support, even for the legs. And you've got lots of adjustments, so you can easily find a good driving position, or a perfect driving position actually. I'm not a fan of these, what seems to be becoming a bit of a fashion, but a square steering wheel, or almost square. It's a hexagonal, so you've got the top of it chopped off, the bottom of it chopped off, and it's slightly round on the sides there, but just feels a little bit weird, a little bit futuristic. I don't know why they have to literally reinvent the wheel. Just have a circular steering wheel. What's the problem with that? Why is that not good enough? And then up on the dash, you've got this massive touch screen. I'm not a huge fan of that either, because it's just too big and it's a little bit distracting. There's very little in the form of physical buttons. You've got the drive modes down there, traction control off, although it is good to see a volume knob, so you can easily just turn that off or down straight away without diving into the screen. The screen itself offers pleasant graphics, and I like this sort of grid layout for all your apps. You can change that around and dive into all these different menus. There's not heaps of color to it though, but I do like that because it's not so bright and in your face. You can turn the brightness down during the night, although it is still too bright in my opinion, but it is good that, yeah, there's lots of it is black in the background, so you don't have a bright light shining at you. With twin electric motors, you've got a combined output of 285 kilowatts, providing a 0 to 100 claim of 5.9 seconds. That is pretty quick, but not that quick compared with traditional S models or RS models of Audis. And if you compare it to sort of EV standards, we've come to expect a certain level of performance from all EVs, and yeah, 5.9 doesn't stack up that impressively for this price, but I think 5.9 seconds is perfect for a vehicle like this. It's luxury, it's sporty, still very quick, gets off the line extremely fast. Overtaking is not an issue at all. Ride comfort is decent. It's more at the sort of sporty end of the spectrum rather than pure comfort. And I don't mean it's uncomfortable, I just mean if there was a sort of spectrum there, this will be just bumped up into the sporty end. It's European, so it's got that sort of firmer setup than some of the Japanese and Korean luxury models. If you are after absolute comfort, then yeah, you could look at some other options, but I'm in comfort mode at the moment. It's totally fine, and this is a very poor condition road, ripples and little bumps and so on everywhere, and it's just soaking them up nicely. But I like the sturdy feeling of it, so it's got to have rock solid stability, being German, because it's got to drive on the Autobahn at high speed, and that's what this provides. It's very, very solid on the road. It does have an electronic steering setup, which is a little bit unusual in my opinion. Like, there's a decent amount of feel and a little bit of weight, which is nice, but just when you're driving along the highway and you just move it a little bit, you can kind of almost calculate when you make the movement, the electronics going, and it's like, it's not that it's delayed, but you can just notice it. I don't know if it probably doesn't make sense what I'm saying, but yeah, there's just this funny feeling just on center where you can actually feel that it's electronic. Whereas if it was a mechanical setup, there'd be a little bit of slack, before the an actual rod twists the wheels. So it's just not as nice as some of the traditional offerings that have been out. It does offer excellent handling though, very flat, being electric. You've got the battery mounted low down. It's extremely sure-footed. I've got it in the comfort mode at the moment. We'll flick it over to the sport mode or the dynamic mode. Throttle response is a bit snappier, but it's not ridiculously snappy like some EVs, and I guess that's where, paying the premium price, you just get a bit more fine-tuning, a bit more refinement. It's got more of a traditional combustion engine throttle delivery where you progressively put it down. It's not like an on-off switch. Okay, going back down, I've got the stability control turned off just so I can understand what the actual tyres and chassis is doing without the intervention of the ESC. Excellent traction. I can still hear a relay clicking away under the dash, which suggests the ESC isn't completely off. So that firmer suspension is really nice when you start to push it a bit harder, because it's able to absorb the bumps while maintaining excellent body stability. Around here, full throttle, excellent power delivery as well. Yeah, so that suspension is really nice once you start pushing it. Not that it was bad before, I'm just saying if you are after absolute comfort, then you'll step out of this and into some other rivals that will be, yeah, just have more sort of wheel travel in a softer setting. Whereas when you start pushing this, it all makes sense, as per typical with European vehicles. That's full throttle out of there, no issue at all, delivering the power to the ground. Got those big 285s on the back, so plenty of grip. Rips around there, that was nice. I was expecting a little bit of understeer, but it didn't. It pulled the front end into line straight away. It didn't, react. It was proactive. Yeah, this is a quick machine, no doubt about it. It does feel a little bit heavy, but all of that weight is low down, so that's good. As per typical with EVs, the battery's mounted under the floor. Good brakes. Yeah, I can hear the relay something clicking away under the dash. It could be just the electronics for the all-wheel drive system. Whatever it's doing, it's getting me up this hill, this twisty road, in complete composure and control. Full throttle, yeah, very nice. It's definitely a performance and sporty SUV. This is not a pure luxury. This has got some excitement under there. I think the biggest problem facing this vehicle, or actually any vehicle that's like this, being electric, is that you can actually buy something quite similar at the core of it. I mean, you've got the Audi build quality and all of that, the design, but at the core of it, with 2 electric motors, you can actually buy something for about half the price that does pretty much the same thing in terms of performance, range, power delivery down a road like this. So I think that's where the premium brands in particular are going to struggle a little bit. I mean, we've already seen Porsche is winding back on its plans to go hard with EVs. It's going to offer an electric version of the new 718 Boxster and Cayman, and also the Cayenne, at least at the top spec form. So yeah, something like this, it's kind of falls in the same basket. This is priced from around 123,000 excluding on road, so there's a lot of money. And what are you getting over a $70,000 or $80,000 EV? Well, yeah, it's just that build quality, the luxury inside, the technology. Audi has been making really high quality touchscreens and quattro all-wheel drive system for decades, so you are paying for that engineering. And then, yeah, when you start to push it on a road like this, it doesn't fall apart like some of the cheaper EV rivals. This remains very controlled, very dedicated to the corners. It doesn't feel uneasy at all, and it's very well balanced. So you might get some rivals that do quicker to 0 to 100, but then they fall apart when you start to push them or the brakes start to overheat. This is very well balanced. 5.9 seconds is still very quick, but it's manageable and controlled. Would I buy one? I probably wouldn't. I'd rather have something with a petrol engine, because I'm spending all that money. I don't want something that's, just a high-end washing machine, basically. I know that sounds pretty harsh, but that's kind of what you're getting here. It's a high-end washing machine in that it does the same fundamental thing as something that's much cheaper. Whereas if this had a nice twin-turbo V8, there's not many rivals that will do that for that sort of price. You're actually paying for that extra engineering to get that 4-litre, whatever, twin turbocharged, very complex mechanical component to produce, whatever, 400 kilowatts or whatever it's going to be. Even if it was the same speed as this or even slower, I would still rather have a nice crispy V8 than a silent package like this, if I was spending this sort of money and wanted a premium brand vehicle like this. In saying that, I can totally understand why somebody would buy this. You've got excellent ride and handling, good power delivery, and the smarts behind Audi's quattro system and all of that, the design, build quality, and then you've also got that cool looks on the outside. All right, let's head out now to the performance test and see what it goes like.